Hey there, and welcome to September 2019. My name is Kayleigh Jean, and I'm here to do your creativity readings for the month. I just have a couple of quick announcements. First of all, if you are looking to go deeper with your astrological knowledge and you want to explore the potential of working with astrological magic in your personal spiritual practice, I will put the information to Natural Magic School. That's the topic of the month. We're going a lot deeper with it. We're also going to be doing some live streams and just exploring natural magic from an astrological perspective, as well as going into the philosophy of circle casting and working with the four direction. If you're not familiar with Natural Magic School, it is really just a very inexpensive way to support my channel. If you get something useful out of these videos and you want to say thank you, you get access to a ton of extra content every month. So all that information, again, will be below the video. Secondly, I wanted to let you know about the tanks that I'm wearing this month. I'm super excited to be partnered with Hannah Stone, who reached out to me. I was so excited to partner with her for this month's videos. She creates this whole line of astrological, constellation-based and crystal-based designs with her clothes, and her fabric that she uses is so freaking comfortable. Everything that she has, I think, is somewhat reversible, so you can wear it in different ways to create different necklines and just fun stuff. So I wanted to give her a little shout out and let you know that she's offering free shipping for anybody who watches this and wants to purchase something from her shop, which is super generous. So I will put all of her information below. I just really related to her mission. She's working to empower women. She employs adults who earn fair wages in Canada. I absolutely love her mission. I feel like she is just a really awesome creative person, and I'm really excited to be wearing her stuff this month. So if you're interested in that, I will put the information and the free shipping link to her shop below. Okay guys, let's get into your readings without any further ado. Okay, Pisces, let's get into your September reading. As I was tuning into your energy, I was given a visual of someone closing their eyes. And it felt like the person was closing their eyes almost as if they were meditating, but they were kind of moving a little bit at the same time. So this could be a very introspective month for many of you. I feel that this month, just intuitively, we do have this full moon in your sign, conjunct Neptune, your modern ruler. So your energy is very strong this month. And at the same time, you do have this opposition of the sun. Because any full moon is an opposition between the sun and the moon, we have the sun opposing your sign. So it is kind of like your half birthday as well. So there's a lot of focus on you, and really the message that I was getting as I was just tuning in intuitively to you is this sense of almost having one foot in one realm and one foot in the other, and really kind of trying to find your own groove with that, trying to find your own rhythm with that process of being in the midst of a powerful transition, being in the midst of like kind of really knowing yourself and identifying yourself and having lots of memories and good associations with a particular kind of chapter or path of your life. But then also there's this other kind of energy or influence that's coming in quite strongly that has a lot of unknowns. There's a lot of question marks around it. But yet at the same time, you have one foot in that realm. You have one foot in that totally new space, that totally new way of relating, that totally new way of interacting in terms of your material existence and maybe even spiritually as well. You're very much in between worlds right now. And I feel like this is an important time for you, Pisces, and it's an important time for you to stay grounded, because anytime that we are kind of in that transitional space, it is very important to take care of ourselves. It becomes increasingly demanding. Just our own self-care, our own ability to stay rooted is really, it should be your paramount sort of concern this month. I don't feel that it's a bad time at all for Pisceans, though. I feel like it's a great time, and I feel like in a lot of ways, as you embrace this and you surrender to these changes, these transformations, I feel like you will experience great joy, and for some of you, even ecstasy. Depending on the context of whatever this is that you're going through, it can be an incredibly pleasurable and exciting time, a very creative time as well. I just think it's really important that you take care of yourself so that you can continue to show up and take care of the things that you do need to take care of, and really stay grounded and practical while at the same time you are in the midst of this transition. Okay, Pisces, let's go ahead and take a look at your cards, and we'll get some more information. Pisces, Pisces, Pisces. Okay. Pisces, Pisces. Okay. So I was seeing kind of like a pool of water, which isn't unusual considering that we are reading for mutable water right now. You are the wateriest water sign, but there is something else to that symbol. There's some other meaning to it. Pisces, your guides for Pisces. Okay, let's take a look at your cards. So we've got Firefly and the Buffalo. I love the Buffalo card. This is one of my favorites. If you follow my readings and you're familiar with these cards, I absolutely love the Buffalo. And I feel like the Buffalo tends to come up a lot for Pisces. Again, this is such a beautiful connection with what came through for you in the meditation. And it really does speak to kind of the spiritual essence of this month for you. I mean, as a Pisces, you are somebody who kind of, in general, you have a very etheric energy to you. Whether you have a Pisces moon or a sun or a stellium in Pisces or a Pisces rising, typically Pisces people have a connection to an etheric or almost there's an elusive quality to a Pisces. You never can really nail down exactly what they are in terms of a material sense or like a categorization. Just as the mutable water sign, you really defy categorization as a whole. And I think in part this is because so much of like the other realm kind of tends to come through you. You're very connected to your unconscious mind. You're very connected to the forces of mystery around you and within you. And so I feel like the Buffalo card is such a beautiful card that represents just the Piscean energy and the Piscean dilemma of having kind of one foot in both worlds. And I'll explain more about why that is in a moment, but the Firefly is your path. So the Firefly is a card that has a lot to do with initiation. It has a lot to do with kind of like the initial spark of something, and it's lighting up darkness. This is a creature that illuminates itself when it's in a dark environment. So one of the things that is so striking to me about this particular context in which the Firefly is coming up is that for some of you Pisceans, you may feel that you have been going through a little bit of a dark period. I don't know that I would necessarily call it a dark night of the soul, but it may have been a period of a lack of clarity or a period of difficulty and challenge. Some of the mutable signs have been experiencing challenges lately, and I won't go into all the reasons why that is, but you are now at this point probably experiencing some kind of stimulation, like a stimulation either from your environment or maybe even from within you, that is kind of igniting this spark. It's almost like if you were to turn the key of an ignition. I mean, even, for example, a car runs off of a combustion, so there is this sense of light and heat and combustion with this card as well. And so it really is apt that metaphor of like turning the key. It's something is sparking, something is igniting, and it's lighting up the darkness. It's lighting up a situation that has been previously unclear to you in some way, shape, or form. And I do feel that this is an exciting energy. It's something that you are looking forward to. It's something that you, it's like a blessing, I feel. I'm feeling this like sigh of relief with you, Pisces, as I'm talking about this. It's like, I see the light again, or I feel the light, I feel the light inside of me. I feel this could be a metaphor for your own inner clarity of purpose, maybe an idea. This could be like a light bulb going off, almost like a cartoon on top of someone's head. It's like the light happens and you get that ability to see. You get that ability to become more aware of your surroundings, but it's because you are the light, Pisces. It's because you don't have to worry about anything when your own inner being is switched on. When your own inner being is lit up, then no darkness around you has any kind of hold on you. And even in periods where you naturally are not meant to have a lot of clarity about how you want to move forward, I personally believe that some periods of our life are meant to be experienced as more of a surrender, are meant to be experienced as more of acceptance. There's something in this, though, for you, that if you are being surprised by something, if you are having an unknown influence coming into your life, even if it's not something that you initially wanted, Pisces, I feel like it is something that you needed. It's like, this is something that you needed, even if you didn't necessarily want it. You needed to be surprised by this, or you needed to have that period where you weren't sure what you were going to do, or you weren't sure what you really wanted, so that when the influence comes in and helps you to get that insight, you're in a space to be able to receive it. We're not always meant to know exactly where we're going, I personally believe. And the buffalo is what's crossing you, so it's kind of the influence, it's what's coming in. This is a huge signifier of strength for you, Pisces. And I love the buffalo because it's such an etheric creature. It really has its kind of connections, and it has roots upward almost into like the heavens as far as the energy that a buffalo has. And then they're also such a very earthy and grounded and sort of earth-based, very, very profoundly, almost, there's like a simpleness to the wisdom of this creature, that it feels to me like there's something very much tied into the archetype of Pisces and the archetype of kind of how you adapt to your environment that is very much being recommended to you for the month of September. So it is about, again, like I said before, taking care of your physical body, doing the simple things that you need to do to nurture yourself, doing maybe exercise. Sometimes with the buffalo, it can be beneficial to do some strength training, or if you're into more yoga, for example, doing more body weight or more push-ups or something that will kind of increase your sense of earthly strength and fortitude, because that is going to transfer over into your sense of spiritual strength and trust in yourself. So if you're able to, Pisces, if that's something that you have the health to do right now and you have the inspiration to do right now, I feel like incorporating something more earthy, strengthening, kind of working with like the musculature and lifting heavier or doing some kind of body weight training could be really useful, because it will help you align all of this etheric energy that you have going on and root you in the physical and strengthen you in that way. So I feel that this is just a really beautiful reading already. Let's take a look at your cards. So we've got the Sun, the Queen of Cups, the Three of Wands, and the Queen of Swords. Queen energy. So we've got the Six of Pentacles, Three of Swords, Two of Wands, and the Five of Wands. Okay. So I'm just going to tune in here for a moment. So there's a lot coming through in this reading, but I want to talk about the first couple of cards that came up because I feel like these are representative of kind of the core recommendations that are coming through for you. So your card, for me, I personally associate the queens with the mutable signs. So the Queen of Cups is mutable water, so she's Pisces for me. So this is you, whether you're a male or a female Pisces, it doesn't matter. This is your card. This is very symbolic of your energy. And she's facing the sun. This is a very summery draw, which is funny because if you are in the northern hemisphere, we are kind of getting to the close of summer. We're still very much in the summer months, but we're kind of rapidly heading towards autumn. So there's something here in the beginning of September about, it could be for you Pisces, about just taking a little bit of time in the beginning of the month to tune back into nature, to maybe enjoy the end of the summer or the season wherever it is that you are. Be outside a little bit more if the weather permits and if your schedule permits, but try and find some ways to kind of connect back to your natural surroundings and give yourself some time for contemplation. I feel like that's going to be really important for you because you have this energy of going inward, and at the same time with the sun, there's also connotations of success with this. So it's potentially saying that in the first week or two of September, the best use of your time is actually in resting, and it's actually in kind of taking care of your own psychological well-being, your mental well-being, your emotional well-being, your spiritual well-being. This is like a restorative time. And you can do that in any way makes the most sense for you, even if it just means a half hour a day of personal creative time, or making sure that you go on a walk in a natural or nice environment every day for a little bit. Something like that. I am also seeing somebody like reading a book at the beach with this straw. So if you can make that happen, don't feel bad if you can't, but if you can do something that gives you that type of feeling, Pisces, that's actually going to be the best use of your extra time that you have available. That's going to be the best use of your resources that you have available, because there's a lot going on astrologically and atmospherically for Pisceans right now, leading up to that full moon on the 13th. So I feel like it is going to be important to kind of come back to yourself in the very beginning of the month, give yourself some time to take a break and rest if that's what you know your body needs, if you're feeling kind of burnt out, etc. As we go further into the month of September, we do have the Three of Wands with the Queen of Swords. And this is potentially where there are some influences that you're going to have to navigate with care. And this could be happening, or this could be coming into your like sphere of awareness right around that full moon in your sign on the 13th with the Queen of Swords and the Three of Wands. The Queen of Swords could represent another person. It could be a woman or like a female friend, a female in your family, or someone that you work with. As an individual, she can have air sign qualities, or she could be an air sign, Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. But as a personality trait, she can just be someone, if she's not any of those signs, she can just be someone who is a thinker and who can sometimes be harsh with her words. In a very mundane, traditional sense of reading the cards, she can be a signifier for a divorced woman. So there could be a woman in your life who is divorced or who has left some kind of situation of importance, and there may be a slight amount of bitterness in her energy towards the people that she was involved with, but she's no longer involved with. That can be sometimes an aspect of the Queen of Swords. So if she's someone separate from you, that would be kind of potentially your clue as to who this is. But this individual, you know, in a lot of ways, it feels to me, because of the way that the cards came up not facing each other, and then you have the Three of Wands in between you, it could be for some of you that maybe there's a woman in your life who is in kind of harsh disagreement or harsh criticism or judgment of an action, like a particular action that you want to take. With the Three of Wands, this could be related to travel or moving, or maybe even something having to do with education. For example, if you're maybe a younger Pisces and you have a woman in your family who is trying to guide your studies or your education in some way, she may not really be in harmony or in alignment with the choices that you personally want to make. And so there could be a little bit of conflict around the situation, around that full moon in particular. So you want to make sure that you're not kind of being overly emotional or allowing yourself to slip into any kind of difficult communication patterns with this person. It would be important to kind of just be direct, but I also would just recommend, as much as possible, if you can wait before kind of putting out any harsh words or having like a big important conversation on that full moon around the 13th is probably not a good idea. There's going to be just high emotions, and the possibility for misunderstandings is going to be high. So I think this is possibly something, like I said, because these queens came up not facing each other, and then there's also the Three of Wands in between. For some of you, this could be a message for like one person out there even, but I have to say there could be a situation where there's three people involved in a relationship where there really should have only been two. And if that's the case, I feel like it's important for you to have your own boundaries, Pisces. And if you're the person that was like not being told things that you should have known, it's also kind of natural that this theme could come up around that full moon in Pisces, because it is conjunct Neptune, and it makes some things kind of, it takes away some of the clarity, I guess. And with this guy in between, it could be a situation where there's one person, like one man and two women. If that's the case, you know, I feel like you want to just kind of, again, come back to yourself, and really give yourself some time, give yourself a couple weeks to really just come back to your own energy, and to not feel like you need to make any decisions at this point about how you want to proceed, or if you want to proceed. I think that you need to respect yourself, Pisces. I think you know what you deserve. And I think that if this isn't necessarily a romantic relationship, if it was a situation where there just were things that maybe weren't communicated that should have been communicated, I feel like your main prerogative is to get your own space right now. I feel like Pisces needs to shut the door, put some music on, and you know, paint or draw, or you know, do your creative work. Pour some candles if you make candles, if that's something you like to do. I feel like you need to kind of like shut out the distractions so that you can be creative and get back in touch with your inner voice, so that you can actually figure out like what you want to do about this situation. Because if you haven't been treated fairly, I think it's possible right now that under this influence of all of this Neptunian energy, it's possible that you might kind of stretch yourself too far in a situation that's really not fair to you. And it's just that compassionate kind of temptation that a lot of Pisces people deal with. So I think it's important to just kind of, again, get your space, get some time to yourself, so you can really be in touch with what's really beneficial to you, and also cool off if you are feeling frustrated or if you're feeling emotional. I feel like this is just the best time for you to work on your own path and think about what you want, and do something that you enjoy and that gives you the feeling of love just within yourself, and the feeling of passion just within your own excitements. And then when you're kind of detached more from the situation, you'll have a better viewpoint of what you want to do. We have the Six of Pentacles with the Three of Swords, and we also have the Two of Wands with the Five of Wands, which was coming up, if you recall. The Three of Wands was right above the Two of Wands, and then the Five of Wands is following. So this all tells me something in your reading. Let's start first of all with the Six of Pentacles and the Three of Swords. One thing that I do get when I'm looking at this is that there's still this sense of reeling after a situation has come to some sort of a climax, come to some sort of a conclusion. And there's this sense with the Six of Pentacles and the Three of Swords of reflecting on that situation and recognizing that it wasn't fair. Because the Six of Pentacles can be a card of give and take. It can be a card of connection and meaningful commerce. It can be a card of charity, but when it comes up with the Three of Swords, it kind of gives it this energy of like disappointment and frustration with the way that the transactions have been occurring. So for example, it kind of adds this flavor almost of that maybe this gentleman here has been giving under false pretenses, or maybe these people that he's been giving to have been receiving under false pretenses. And either way, either party may feel disappointed with what's going on. There could be, like, for example, all of a sudden it becomes aware that there's strings attached to something that feels really icky, and it feels very much not what you talked about, or it maybe starts to feel almost like there's a shadow element to it. And again, Pisces, I just want to encourage you to kind of take these thoughts, take these emotions, take these awarenesses that are coming up for you, and really see how it sits with you over time. Because there's a lot of immediacy to the energy of September for you in these cards. There's like a lot of immediacy of, oh my gosh, like an awareness or an idea or something coming to you, and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't like that, or I'm not sure about that, or I feel different than that. But then as you sort of sit with it, you start to see like the blessing behind it. Like I was saying before, I think it was either from the Animal Spirit cards or the meditation, that sometimes we get a surprise that we didn't necessarily want. But ultimately that is exactly what we needed. Like otherwise, if we only got surprised by things that we wanted already, like that would, over time, that would make our life really boring. Like it would really not be as meaningful. And so I think the universe kind of knows that, and the universe, and maybe even our higher self, or what you could call like the balance in the cosmos. The balance in the cosmos is such a way, almost like the Wheel of Fortune, and it is such a way that as the wheel turns, it brings in exactly what we need at the exact time that we need it, but we don't always have the conscious awareness of those inner workings that are going on, and how that all makes sense is not necessarily always going to make sense to our conscious mind right away. So stay in that place of receptivity, I feel. One of the things that could happen is that, like in a situation where there was 3, then now there's only 2. And this could be, for example, 3, if it's relating to your creativity, Pisces, it could be 3 in the area of your work, like 3 potential clients that you're going to work with. Like if you have like a big business and you only work with a small number of clients, it could be that you stop working with a client, but then they kind of move into this like industry or this separate part of your industry that is not necessarily in their favor. It could be because something's moving from 3 to 2. It could be that you are deciding, I'm not going to offer this particular service anymore. So you used to offer 3 different packages or 3 different services. Now you're only going to do 2. And the rest kind of gets moved over into the Five of Wands, which is, it almost feels like a little bit like a situation in which there's unnecessary competition. I'm not sure exactly how to describe what I'm seeing here in a way that will make sense generally, but it's almost as if you contemplating your life and like your life's work and your purpose and what you want, you're contemplating those things in the beginning of the month, and you, because you're trying to do more like at that point, or because you're trying to make something fit that doesn't quite fit, it's like once you recognize that piece that you're trying to shove into the puzzle, once you recognize what that is, you can throw it, you know, you can toss it to the dogs, Pisces. And I don't mean that in like a derogatory way at all or anything, but it's like, it's almost as if because you have like FOMO or something, you're trying to say yes to everything. And there's peace in recognizing the limitations that your own inner being is like enforcing upon you. Because maybe there's a part of you that has been creating and working and expanding and publishing and trying to be everywhere at once and saying yes to every invitation and trying to stay on top of what everyone's doing and, you know, in your industry or even in your friend circle. It's like you've been trying to be there for everyone, trying to take care of everything, trying to be part of everything, and then you realize, you're like, wait a minute, I only want 2 of these freaking wands. I only want 2. And as you kind of toss the other one, it's like you get empowered again. You are where you need to be. You're looking at your trajectory. You're feeling optimistic and hopeful about the future again. And whatever it was that was resistance in your vibration, whatever it was that was causing you to push for something that should have felt a lot more smooth and chill, you can throw that back into the pot, throw it back into the pile, you know, throw it back into where, like the metaphor that's coming to mind is almost like if you're at a clothing swap or something and everybody has all these clothes in like a big pile and you're like, oh, you know, I don't need this anymore. Like I love this dress or I love this shirt or whatever, but I don't need this anymore. Like I'm going to put it back into the pile. It's going to go back in and someone's gonna choose it, someone's gonna pick it up, and it's gonna be the perfect fit for them. It's not my sweater anymore. It's not my dress anymore. Like I just know it. It needs to be released. And that's kind of like the 5 of Wands, the way I'm seeing this 5 of Wands right now, which is a very unusual and untraditional read on this card, but I see you kind of finding peace and finding self-acceptance when you let go of that piece that doesn't fit, when you let go of trying to force something where, when you're really honest with yourself, it's probably actually FOMO. It's fear of missing out. It's fear of not pleasing everyone. It's fear of not being relevant or fear of not keeping up somehow, fear of disappointing people, you know? If whatever you're doing is coming from that place, it's going to be a lot more stressful and difficult for you to continue this work or to continue joyfully in your life. I think you're going to experience a hell of a lot of relief when you just release whatever that is, toss it back in to the collective, and, you know, with love. It's like, this is not mine anymore. Like, that's great. That is freaking, it's a relief. It's a relief, Pisces. So I really like that. Let's take a look at your extended reading cards. We'll be looking at your cards using the Lenormand deck, and I really am just using this quite intuitively. Pisces, Pisces, Pisces. Feel, it was like cut there, but then there was one card that wanted to be on top, so I'm just rolling with it. Okay, so I'm not reading these cards traditionally because I'm really just using them to jog my intuition. Let's get your Bob Ross message. Pisces, 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 Pisces. Okay, so let's take a look here. We've got, use absolutely no pressure, just like an angel's wing. So that was Bob Ross. It was a quote from Bob Ross. Use absolutely no pressure, just like an angel's wing. And we have purpose. Oh, so beautiful. Just like what I was saying with the Sun and the Queen of Cups. So we have the Tower, the stars, and the stork. The tree, the fish, and the crossroads. Definitely makes sense. We've got the book, the clouds, the sun, the moon, the mice, and the gentleman. In your energy in regards to a relationship, we have a child, the child and the ring. We have the letter and the key in the other person's energy, and we have the clover as the energy that's between you. So I'll be looking at your Lenormand cards in the extended reading, but just so you know, Pisces, these messages that already came through, these were your core main messages for the month of September. So I really hope that they were helpful to you. I hope it gave you something peaceful and exciting to think about as you go through the month of September. I am sending you so much love and appreciation. I hope you have an awesome month. Take care of yourselves, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.